Bitcoin is on the verge of something legendary. Take a look at this chart. This is the Fibonacci level. And right now, as we speak, Bitcoin is battling this Fibonacci level. Once it gets above this level and holds it as support, it's only a matter of time before there's a new all-time high. Every single cycle, as soon as we break above this Fibonacci level, we are about 1 month to a maximum of 2 months away from a brand new all-time high. And as we speak, Bitcoin is trying to battle above this Fibonacci zone. In today's video, I'm going to show you something that I've never shown you before. It's a little inside scoop when you compare this Fibonacci to the RSI levels, and there's a specific zone I'm going to show you, which is this little break above inside this channel that has all of the secrets to this legendary move that Bitcoin is trying to handle as we speak. Now, let's get into it. We're on the Bitcoin US dollar index and we are on the monthly chart. Two components of our chart today. We have price action with the Fibonacci, which I'll show you in a minute. And at the bottom of our screen, we have the RSI. Remember, our RSI is overbought and oversold. Right now, RSI on the monthly chart is hanging out just below 70, which is the key level that we're going to get to in a moment. But don't forget the 70 level. So as we go into price action, here's what I'll show you. We are at the Fibonacci retracement. So if you go to your tools and you click on Fibonacci retracement, what you're going to do is go from the swing high to the swing low. Now, what the hell does that mean? That means you go from the highest price, you click once, you drag down to the lowest price, you click again, and then you're going to set up the settings precisely like this. If you're like me and you're on the log scale, you'll scroll down to the bottom and click the log box. And then it will look exactly like this. And this is a chart that we've been following for 5 or 6 years. We followed it to the T in the last cycle. Now, what we've noticed are a few things about what Bitcoin is doing. But what usually happens is we have the bottom of the market below our 0.38. So the bottom of the market happens below the 0.38, and the 0.38 is our resistance during the bottom of the market. Case in point, bottom of the market 2015, resistance to the 0.38. Look at 2019, happened below this 0.38 and we had some resistance down there. Now what happens is after we break through this 0.38, we have what's called phase one. Phase one usually acts as support for the 0.38. Case in point right here, 2015, and case in point 2019. That phase one builds support structure directly on top of the 0.38. Now this cycle, you may wonder, well, Steve, is this time different? How come everyone in your comments keeps saying this time is different? Well, let's take a look. The bottom of the market, we want it to happen below the 0.38. And yes, it did. We want some resistance to the 0.38. Absolutely. We want phase one of the market to be built on top of the 0.38 as support. Yep. And we want phase two to come up and test this fib level, the 0.78. Yep. We did exactly what we've done before and exactly what we did in 2019. That phase two, boom, rallies up to here. And again, phase two, 2015, 2016 comes rallies right up to this level. Now, we showed you a little trick in last week's video because a lot of people like to count the dollars. Hey, Steve, if Bitcoin's up $4 and down $7. If you really wanted to look at it, we gave you this little clue last week where we said, look, this wick actually breached this fib level. Again, we don't care about wicks. I know a lot of people really want to count the dollars, so we gave you this tip. This wick happened to be precisely 6% above this fib level. So if you go to the top of the fib level, it was 6% that Bitcoin rallied through here before getting rejected. 2019, what did we do? More of the same. This wick right here that you're looking at is quite literally 6% above the fib level. So last week I told you, hey, watch the $53,000 area. Why? Because that's precisely 6% above the fib level. So we're right on schedule and we're at this breaking point with Bitcoin where it's trying to get into phase three. It's going to try to break through here. And more importantly, next month, it will try to hold support here if it's able to break through. Or it could be more of the same because we've seen the 6% and we saw what happened afterwards, and we saw this 6% and we saw what happened afterwards. Now, we do have some clues at the bottom of our chart, but now that you've drawn this correctly, and again, last week, as we were approaching here with this 6%, this is what we had to say, roll the clip. If you stay level-headed and you just look at what is possible, we're going up to about 6.6, 6.5. We're up there at about 53,000. These are just the facts. Bitcoin could get to 53,000 and still be in that same scenario because that's exactly what we did in 2015 and that's exactly what we did in 2019. tilt your phone to the side and subscribe. So here we are. We're right at that level that we talked about last week. We're literally there and we're holding our breath, and everyone around the world's holding their breath. And people are wondering, why is Bitcoin kind of slowing down at this 53? What the hell is going on? Well, it happens to be an incredibly structurally and incredibly significant level. It's the fib level that's our resistance. It's the market structure at the 6% that's our resistance. And we're heading into this zone. You can see the RSI just reached its head into this zone. Now, this is where things get interesting because we're about to pair what the fib is telling us with what the RSI is telling us. Now, I know there's a lot of Bitcoin bulls here, and I wanted to share this little tidbit of information for you. This would probably get you pretty excited if you're a Bitcoin bull. Now, I just want to share the facts because this is what I was studying in this chart, and I need to share it with you because I found it super cool, and I know you will find it super cool as well. So one thing I looked at is when you study the RSI with this fib is that once we had our market cycle top, we can all see that this was the market cycle top. Not my opinion, just a fact. When you look at it, the RSI was up here, and then we breached into this channel. When we breached into this channel, the market had already topped, and it was just right after the top. I want to compare this because this is pretty cool. So if you look at when we breached into this zone and you measure that, right? How many days? So we got into the zone. How many days did it take until we got back above that zone? And it was about here, about 1,000 days. So we just talked about when the market topped and we got into the zone and we broke down, and it took us literally 1,000 days to get back to where we were, back above the zone. And we got above the zone precisely on the candle that actually held support and broke us into phase 3. So this candle is the one that actually held support on the fib. It wasn't just a breakthrough. It wasn't a wick through. It was a hold support. This is phase 3, 1,000 days later. Now, why is this important? Because if you look at the next cycle, we want to understand, okay, what did the next cycle do? How can we start to break this down with what is in front of us? So we understand 2015, 1,000 days to recover from when we broke into this channel to holding it as support. And we understand once we hold it as support, we had this exact candle, which is the candle that broke us into phase 3, which was our first candle that actually held support at the fib level. 2019, we know that this was the top of the market, not up for debate. We know that once we broke into this channel, it was right here, which is about 1 month after the market cycle top. So far, exactly the same here. This candle was literally the one that got us into this channel, and this candle was literally the one that got us into this channel. So let's take a measured move. We want to understand. We know that the past one was about 1,000 days, and we're looking at it now for deciding, well, how long did it take us? We were here. How long did it take us to recover from that time period? And if we look at it for when we got back above here, it's once again about 1,000 days. So 1,000 days for us to get back above this channel. And that was literally the candle that was the first candle to close as support at the fib. Again, not a wick through of the fib, not a little flirting with the fib, literally a candle, a body closing as support for that fib level, which if you compare 2015 to 2019, it's pound for pound, move for move, identical. And keep in mind, back in 2019, everybody kept telling me, Steve, don't study this chart. This time is different. You can't compare this cycle to the past cycle. This time is different. There's more investors, there's institutional money, we have ICOs, we have all these things. But once again, it was pound for pound, move for move. So let's compare this one. Now we're in this cycle. We understand these two cycles were identical in terms of the 1,000 day recovery, in terms of once we actually recovered and held up here, it was the first candle that ever held support on here. And by the way, the first candle that we entered phase 3 of the bull. Same with this candle, pound for pound, move for move. Let's look here. We all know that this was the market cycle top. A lot of people wanted to debate me at the time, but this is the top, this is the double top. Now looking back, it's not up for debate. Those are actual bona fide facts. So the top of the market here, and we want to look for when we breached into this zone. We breached into this zone here, which is the next candle. Again, this was our top candle, and one candle later, we breached into this zone. Again, what I'm sharing with you is going to make the Bitcoin bulls very happy, and it's going to be a pause for concern, and we're going to have to discuss this in a little more detail, but I hope you're sitting down if you're a Bitcoin bull. So we looked at this break of the zone happened exactly one candle after the all-time high, precisely as it did here, one candle after the all-time high in 2018, precisely as it did here, one candle after the all-time high in 2013. So here we are, one candle after the all-time high in 2021, where we breached into this zone. And we want to look roughly 1,000 days out is when previously we broke above the fib level and for the first time ever held a body as support above fib level. So let's take a look. So as we continue here, we're going in, we're about 900 days now and we're in November. We're at about 944 days and we're in December. We're at about 975 days January, and we're at 1,006 days as we speak in February. This is where it gets interesting because here we are in February, we're 1,000 days out. That's exactly what we've done before. But here is another wrench that I'll throw in for you to examine. In these previous cycles, when it took us 1,000 days to recover, we actually got rejected from this channel once before actually breaking through. Same in 2019, we got rejected once before actually breaking through. And so far in this cycle, we have not gotten rejected from this channel. You can say, well, how about this one, Steve? This is the double top. This was our market cycle top. This was our double top. Our double top technically got rejected from here. So technically we did get a rejection from this line. But again, we want to go based on what happened at the bottom of the market and from the bottom of the market to where we are now. And we have not had any rejection from this middle channel. But we have to take into consideration, we're 1,000 days as we speak. So potentially next month is 1,030. And the next month after that is 1,060. And the next month after that would be 1,090. So we could say it should be within the next 3 months that we have a candle holding above here as the Fibonacci level as support. Not a cute little wick through, not a little dip our head above there. We're talking about an actual candle that puts us literally into phase 3, holding support at this level. I think that is incredibly noteworthy material that we're right inside of that range as we speak. Let me know in the comments down below, what's your prediction? Things are heating up and it's getting very exciting. This bull run is our road to 500,000 subscribers, but I need your help. Today, tell one person about our YouTube channel, how we spit facts, go against the herd, take no paid sponsorships of any kind. Road to 500,000, let's go.